Welcome to Not On Tonight, the show that's on tonight about a show that's not on tonight. My name is Allysin Chaynes, and I'm your hostess tonight. It's lovely to be back with you. We've had a banner weekend here on the channel. We had an amazing 4th edition of Hollywood Squares where we were raising money for the Will Monroe Foundation for queer people living with cancer. And we raised a bunch of money thanks to viewers like you. So thank you so much for attending Hollywood Squares and being a fabulous audience and being at maybe one of my favorite squares we've ever done. I have to say, out of the 4 we've done, this one felt good. This one felt real good. Had a really good time. It was a hoot. Our contestants showed up. You know, all the things that you want to happen happened. All the things. My name is Allysin Chaynes. I'm your host, and as always, our voice of God, our producer today is the one and only Lizzie Renaud in the production booth. Hi,
Hello.
Lizzie.
Hi. How are
you doing?
Oh, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Do you have a Squares hangover still, or are you feeling good?
No. I'm still tired. But it's because when Squares finishes, I keep going. You know. Mm-hmm. I've got just so much on the go.
Yeah. Ordinarily, before when Squares was over, I would take like 3 days to not do anything, I feel.
Yes.
And the minute Squares was over, I was like, I have a whole recap show on Monday to do.
Yeah, we're killing it though.
Killing it with the beautiful, beautiful content every week. It's not food, it's content. But yeah, I'm just like riding high after that. I felt that was really good. I had a chill Sunday of getting stuff ready for Not On Tonight and just marveling at how fun Squares was. And it was just such a fun audience, such a fun grid of people. Yeah, no drama. No one texted me afterwards about anything. Yeah, nothing at all dramatic or weird happened, which I love, you know? This dress makes my tits look insane, and I love it. This breast cutout was not here in the original dress, and I slashed it open. Also, someone asked where I bought this, and I told them this is a dress that was given to me that I just put UV puff paint all over, and they were like, no way, you did that? And I was like, it's drizzled puffy paint. Is the bar that low for artistic creation? But as we'll see tonight, yes, it is. Shall we head into our recaps tonight?
I think so. Let's do it.
All right, Lizzie, release the content. Abrupt.
Whoa, that was very abrupt.
The theme song said, we're done. We're finished.
Get out of here.
Shut it down. I just want to say hello to everyone. I love that crunchy baritone saxophone. Give it to me. However, I will say it's not my favorite instrument on Not On Tonight. This is... Hi, Alberta Premium. Hi, Bruiser. Hi, I'm Victoria Malcolm. Hi, Rude Awakening TV. Hello, everyone that's watching. Don't forget that if you're a new follower or a new sub, you got a sub whistle.
It's our slub whistle.
Our slub whistle.
Thank you for slubbing.
Never has there been a more beautiful word than slub. Just rolls off the tongue and
It's
into
terrible.
your heart. It's intense. I am doing like a splattery, decayed oil spill makeup, but the shapes of it that I chose today make me feel like I'm in Deadpool cosplay. So, if any of you think I look like Deadpool, you are correct. I look exactly like Ryan Reynolds in every way possible. And people won't shut up about it. People all the time on the street are like, oh my God, you look like Ryan Reynolds. Anyway, we have some fun shit planned for today. We've got our recaps. We've got some brand new segments, so new that they don't even have intro stingers yet. And hot off the presses. And Lizzie and I decided that maybe probably this week, is the week. Punter, you got it. Punter. I've already started drinking while I got ready. And I'm feeling excellent. I just want you all to know. Lizzie is maybe a beautiful little bar, and I will be getting drunk tonight, I think. Hi, Briley. What's good? I want to say, and like you can tip me now, you can tip me later during my number. It's going to be rock related because of this episode. But I want to make it a tip goal that if we make, I'll make it an easy tip goal. If we make $100 in tips tonight, before or during the number, Lizzie and I are gonna smoke the weed that Lizzie grew on the patio all summer. Or I guess it was all summer. It was like the last half of the summer.
Don't, please.
Oh no, what'll happen? But if you want to see us give our first impressions of our homegrown weed, which is, it's family weed. The clone was given to you by your sister, right? By Nikki?
Yes, this is correct.
It's family style. So we've been having it curing in a jar in the kitchen cupboard for forever. And literally, if anyone but Lizzie or I touched it, we would be so mad. If anyone had dipped into it before we got to smoke it, I literally would have been like, I don't get upset about a lot of stuff. I don't like, but I would have been like angry.
I would have been like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, what makes you think that you could just go and smoke that weed? But anyway, we will definitely, it's not a punishment, it's more of like something that we can all enjoy together.
Like, don't you want to buy that for us?
Yeah, don't you want to see us try the weed for the first time? Otherwise, it's just going to stay curing and getting more and more dank. Anyway. Let's get to the episode, shall we? It's, listen, it was 2 episodes of TV, I'll say that. Oh, fucking Canada. We're back with another week of Canada's Drag Race, and I am excited for another week of,
feast. Alberta Pre-Miner has tipped the kittens $30 Canadian.
We're a third of the way there. If we get to $200, we'll smoke it twice. We just might. Oh, I just realized that we don't have time for a fancy feast on all of them, and those are kitties.
Yes.
Stream level alerts. But I'm so used to hearing kitties that to me getting a tip and hearing time for a fancy feast is just like, oh yeah, amazing, a fancy feast. Anyway, I'm excited for another week of confusing decisions, wild editing choices, and guest judges that are misplaced for their challenges. Also, this is our first week without Eve 6000, to which I say...
It's not a good idea for me to take this step right now. Oh my god. See, I told you it wasn't a good idea for me to take a step right now.
I'm gonna miss her a lot. Also, Eve is now doing makeup workshops on Cameo upcoming, and she's calling them Trick Up My Sleeve. And I'm like, lean into it, yes! Eve was perfect TV. She was the catalyst we needed this season for the reactions in the workroom. And with the girls, and now I worry. Oh, Cream and a Coochie, thank you.
A red hot subscription coming in.
Time for a slub whistle.
Yes.
Remember how I turned down the speed on the teleprompter?
Yeah.
I was so used to the speed of it last week that now I need to turn it back up. I'm going to be very gentle, but like now I'm like, oh, it's too slow. I made a horrible mistake.
Everybody pay no attention. There's no teleprompter.
What do you, yeah, I've memorized all of this.
Memorizes this.
Actually, I'm spontaneously creating all of this right now.
Wow.
Staring directly into the camera. I know.
And I'm just running with the clips and hoping they match.
Yeah. Lizzie is actually making the clips as we go.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, she's talking about this. Go!
I worry that without Eve's vinegar spirit, the baking soda girls left in this volcano will be left to fizz out. However, I will move on from the tragic loss of Eve on the show, and as we as a community will find a way to rebuild. Last week, we were treated to twin performances of one of my least favorite songs to be on Drag Race ever, Bah Flop! A phrase that has now not left my head for 2 weeks and rings in my ears just as I'm about to fall asleep. The queens are back in the workroom after Eve's elimination, and Kimura is here to deliver yet another talking head confessional, exactly like this. To which I say, okay, twice was cute, but now you just sound like you're doing an impression of yourself in the first 2 episodes. It's every time. Cynthia's got a real cocky strut walking in after sending Eve home, who has left us with the message, this sisterhood is worth more than $100K. P.S. You're all blocked. which could not be a more perfect Eve 6000 send-off line. You know, sometimes when I'm typing these recaps, I'll miss a 0 and accidentally type Eve 600, which feels like such a read. Like a massive numerical devotion. How could I be so shady? Kendall says she's really bonded with Eve. It's true. Eve 600, how dare I? Kendall says she's really bonded with Eve and that she loves her and that she's really gonna miss her, and now I like Kendall more. This cast hasn't even had Twitter beefs with each other yet. It feels like just some vague subtweets. Not that I'm encouraging drama, but I just feel like this cast is so even-tempered with each other that for reality TV, it almost feels too normal. The gals move to the couches and celebrate Gia's win in last week's challenge, but suddenly the queens could obviously read my mind because Adriana interrupts the festivities to ask Gia directly why she picked her last for the country challenge that I won't say the name of. Gia says that she was having flashbacks to the Brusical and had never worked with Adriana, but apologizes for making her feel bad and being picked last. In a very Canadian fashion, the issue seems resolved in a chill manner, and we're all left to twiddle our thumbs and wait for another Canadian disagreement. All right, it's our next day in the workroom, and the girls strike this pose, which they call the Gia, and am I stupid for not knowing why? But go the fuck off, ladies. After some light discussion of Isis's near win and Cynthia's laments of being in the bottom and hoping she doesn't have to lip sync a third time, the siren sounds and the girls rush over to our digital Mama Roo. And, oh God, I'm getting a low battery on my ear thingy.
Okay, we
And
good.
this week, Mama Roo is rhyming.
Sinner, sinner, chicken dinner.
Oh.
Thick and thinner, loser, winner. Hell in a handbag, make it Prada. Devil's in the details, and that ain't nada.
Fashion?
Fashion.
What is that? That's fashion,
That's
baby.
fashion.
It's fashion. Oh, Lord.
It's fashion. I have to say the girls talking at the end of that instantly made me think of this classic Bob and Peppermint moment from the pit stop, which fully made me cry laugh more than once.
It's fashion meets. It's fashion. It's, excuse me. It's fashion. It's fashion.
Is it wait, but it's fashion.
It's fashion. I have something to say. Shut up. God, Bob, don't look at me.
Okay, it's fashion. It's fashion, guys.
Stop.
It's Jada. Listen, guys, she's talking about Jada. She's talking about Jada. Can we just get to the
Fashion. And what is that? Where you get a crown?
listen? So,
Gotcha.
okay.
It's fashion. Amanda Brugel is here and dressed in Vanity Milan orange. She's bringing us one of the best mini challenge ideas ever. And I cannot believe they haven't done this before. The girls will be creating evocative twerks of art, their wording, not mine, and create an art piece that depicts their inner saboteur. More arts and crafts, more painting. This is like performing an OCAD art critique presentation. I would have loved this. I would have made mine look exactly like Brooklyn Heights. All right, so the girls get into quick drag as artists and get to work making their masterpieces, and one by one will come up in their artist persona and present their work. Oh my God, sorry. It's this motherfucker in my ear. I have to go on a tangent right now. I've said this to Lizzie before. I always wonder who the voice actors who do the voices for your Bluetooth headphones are. Like, whose job was this to record several takes of low battery, please charge. Who is this woman? Who is this enigma? Thank you. Stunning. Pairing. I'm sure they'll connect. Anyway, connected. Stun. My look for this would have been glasses, paint-stained overalls, a ponytail done up in a scrunchie, and an attitude that says, I'm just not like the other girls. Adriana is up first for first-year drawing and painting class, and I'm going to critique all of these artworks like I was at OCAD still, okay? And I will describe their art school stereotypes that they're dressed as well. All right, so here's my critique for Adriana's piece. The use of creative form and movement in this piece is complemented by the strong intentional brushstrokes and the texture of the strokes themselves. The fun yet abstract depiction of the face is something that evokes the early works of Jean-Michel Basquiat. You should check him out. I find the creative use of what looks like marks made with your hands to serve as an incredible personal signature to the work directly showing the human expression that created it. As for her outfit, this girl draws a lot of doodly looking flowers and bugs and has a chip on her shoulder because her greeting cards of watercolors are being sold in 4 cafes in a 5-block radius. You went to her house once and had a really good time because she can drink like a sailor, and at 3 a.m. spontaneously made everyone banana bread. And of course, like many OCAD critique pieces before it, after their presentations, these are immediately thrown out into the dumpster fire. All right, next is Pythia and her self-portrait of her inner saboteur. All right, this piece evokes the intensity of the early work of Frida Kahlo. The stoic expression along with the hyper-realism rendering style bears an intimacy with the viewer that almost feels perverse. Pythia is dressed as the girl who is wearing everything vintage label because she works at either Black Market or Public Butter or Exile and gets to see everything before it gets put out onto the floor. She wears Gucci sunglasses, only smokes foreign cigarettes that she gets by the carton, and drinks only Strongbow cider. She knows where to get Coke.
It is me who causes my most problems in my life.
There's only one thing you can do.
Oh no!
You must kill her.
Oh my god! Why?
Otherwise, she will consume you.
She's also now exploring performance art. Her first piece was 2.5 hours long. Up next is Gia, and they barely talk about her piece at all, so I'm going to go ahead and do one of my favorite parts of OCAD critique, which was being extremely blunt and direct about work I didn't like, which was encouraged by the professors, and all in the name of art. The amateurishness of this painting is insulting to both the viewer and your time. The lack of direction and concept behind this piece make the act of you creating this visually masturbatory. It lacks soul, skill, and concept. Gia is dressed as not a student, but the drop cloth of one of the painting studios. It's fierce. Next to the critique is Kendall. Kendall's masterpiece is about unclean douche water, and this says more portfolio submission piece than critique piece. So I'll leave it at that. Kendall is dressed as a twink who was slutty Bob Ross for Halloween. Up next to the presentation easel is Kimora Moore, whose piece gives very wine and painting night. It's a river, apparently. There's a hidden dick in it. In honor of wine and paint night, I'll just say, I'm glad you put yourself out there and had fun. Kimora's caftan is fierce, and I want it. This girl at OCAD asks professors uncomfortable questions that make them squirm and entertain the lecture hall. One time, she needed to use your lighter to spark a joint after class, and you found out that she's actually 45 and has 3 kids, and not 22 like you'd thought. She will become your roommate in thesis year. True story, my friend Jean. Next up, we have Cynthia Kiss. This piece is one of the most impressive of the collective show so far. It reeks of artistic style and has such creative use of line and color, darkness and light. It speaks its concept clearly, but not in a manner that would be overly cliche or over the top. Cynthia is dressed like the girl who did 1 semester abroad last year in England and came back only talking about that and now has new inflections in her voice. Finally, we have Isis, and last in the critique is always a position you don't want. 15 students with an average age of 22, all tired, hungry, caffeine crashing, and itching to smoke. Nevertheless, we press on. Isis, your daring decision to paint monochromatically really paid off, and you created a stirring piece that brings the viewer an immediate sense of sorrow and understanding. The longing of the expression on the eyes peering out of the brick wall is haunting, as if someone is trapped inside the painting themselves, like the movie The Witches. Isis is dressed as a professor you have in 4th year for documentary film studies class. It's a 6:30 to 9:30, and your professor always comes done up and in really expensive looking boots because you're pretty sure she goes out somewhere cool with people the second class is over. She's effortlessly chic and a notoriously good grader. If she likes you, it's obvious. The one person in the class she seems to not like is the one straight guy and girl that sit together that we all kind of picked on when we talked about Coney 2012. She may or may not be where Pythia is getting the coke. That is also a true story about my documentary film studies prof. Not the coke thing. I don't think she sold anyone coke, but she did wear fabulous boots and always came to class ready to go out after.
There is evil in this painting.
Activate the dumpster fire.
Damn you to hell!
my God, her pussy is on fire.
Oh my God.
As Isis is the last artist to present, she gets the ceremonial task of lighting the dumpster fire. This also brings back OCAD memories of any time someone would throw a lit cigarette into a trash can and then an hour later, the whole thing would be on fire, billowing smoke down McCall Street. And yes, it happened more than once. It happened more than 10 times. The winner of this critique is Isis Couture. Amanda then introduces the main challenge, the Sinner's Ball. The girls will need to serve 3 distinct looks: sex, drugs, and rock and roll, ugly as sin, eyesore couture, and look number 3, a look based on one of the 7 deadly sins from scratch. How has it taken as many seasons of Drag Race as we've had across every franchise to not have the top 7 do a 7 deadly sins challenge? It was iconic when they did it on America's Next Top Model Cycle 4, when the girls had to depict one of the 7 deadly sins in a coffin at the bottom of a grave, when top 2 contestant Kaylin had just got the news that a friend of hers from high school had died. Okay, where was I? Right, okay, so previously on America's Next Top Model Cycle 4, Kenya was assigned the look of gluttony for her photo shoot, which seems to be a direct shaft from production, as the judges had just talked about her noticeable weight gain in panel the week before. Oh wait, right, we're talking about Canada's Drag Race. Couldn't I just talk about America's Next Top Model Cycle 4 instead? What? I'm already too far into the season to stop now? Okay. As the winner of the mini challenge, Isis will get to assign the sins that each of the queens will be creating looks for. She immediately picks Wrath, which, good choice, that's what Kaylin had for her photo shoot as well. Next, Isis assigns Greed to Cynthia, Sloth to Gia, Pride to Kendall, Lust to Adriana, Envy to Kimora, and Gluttony to Pythia. Everyone is going through their boxes and generally seems to like what they've got, except Kimora, who seems worried and isn't too fond of the material she's been given. It's a combo of vines, tulle, beads, and all of it different shades of green, which I do agree here. When using different shades of the same color, green is one of the hardest ones to make look cohesive. One green will totally clash with another green. That is fair. Kimora also just feels like there's not enough material in there to, quote, cover my ass. And yes, she says it like that, shocking. Kendall and Adriana are discussing their creations, and though Kendall was tempted to make a base garment and stick things from her box to it, as is the tradition in the Drag Race prophecy that must be fulfilled, she decides to go in a different direction and sew a gown, specifically to show off and accentuate the curves that make Black women beautiful and inspire Kendall. Adriana is going for a lingerie look for Lust, but worries about it being too lusty, and so she's making a cape to go with it in hopes of making it more couture. Though Cynthia is hopeful about her creation, she's greedy for a different color because it's dawning on her that her first design challenge look this season was also gold, and she doesn't want to just make another gold look. So she's going to try and make an outfit of all the things that aren't gold, to which I say, go piss, girl. Should have done a golden shower look. Isis is not worried in this, like, could you imagine doing like a wet Kim Kardashian, like yellow beaded dripping look where you were like, I'm inspired by being soaked in piss. Isis is not worried in the slightest, and she's working with the material she chose for herself, and I think the absolute best ones. And I'm not just saying that because during this whole conversation, she's creating a garment out of chains that I want. Sorry, that I want. Pythia and Gia are chatting about their plans for their designs. Gia is going to be doing a slept in my makeup, robe, sleepy chic look, while Pythia is going to be doing a bright fun take on the witch from Hansel and Gretel that eats children and is a hero to many. Pythia also says she feels like her biggest competitors are Cynthia and Isis, but she says it like she was filling in a Mad Lib. My biggest competitors in this challenge are Cynthia and Isis. It's elimination day, and look at the serious air Isis is getting here. She's like almost at Adriana's shoulders, jumping in the air. It's unreal. As the queens come back into the workroom, bad knees my ass. Now, as we get ready at the battle stations, the mirror chat today turns to pronouns, as Kimora says she has trouble keeping up with all the new letters of the alphabet added to LGBT. Again, her words, not mine. And the girls have a conversation about pronouns, the importance of honoring someone's pronouns and understanding and respecting gender identity, which ultimately is a great conversation to see on national TV and is an important discussion. However, It's also 2021, and the kid gloves handling of older folks within the community who are late to adapt to something as fundamentally simple as using someone's correct pronouns is a bit, for lack of a better word, old for me at this point. For older folks not directly in the community, I can understand the process of learning, but for someone who's been gay and out and in drag for this long, I was honestly surprised to hear this conversation brought up in this way by Kimora, but ultimately, it's a pleasant conversation about a topic that does need further mainstream discussion, so I can't be too ruffled. All right, it's time for the main stage, and my God, my breath is taken away. The glamour, the edge, the darkness, the mullet. This Brooklyn look is a total shoot for me. Oh, yeah, okay, sorry, I saw the chat, Hunter. Yeah, the other letters. I just don't like when it's brought up being like, I'm old, so I don't get it. No, you get it, you're just not trying hard enough. Sorry, that drove me to drink. And that one was just for fun. There we go. Okay. I want to wear this look so badly. This may be my favorite Brooklyn look out of the season so far, but of course it would be. Now, Amanda and Brad look great too, but we have to praise the golden glowing goddess herself and former childhood best friend of Lucinda Mew. It's Gigi Gorgeous. I love that she's here today, and it makes total sense to have her be on a show like this. But also, since they have a rocker look today, couldn't we have also just had Biff Naked stay around this week too, please? Also, here's my Gigi Gorgeous story for the night. Before the pandemic, I was performing at Cruise and Tangos, and oh my God, never mind. And Gigi Gorgeous came in with like 10 people. She knew someone who was working that night or performing, so she came into the dressing room, did a shot with the queens, and was like incredibly, terribly nice. Later, when I was performing, drunk and halfway through my set, I see a flash of $5 bill blue waving at me from her side of the stage, and I prance over there. I bend down to her, lip syncing directly, making intense, smoldering eye contact with her until I realize her hands are empty and her nails that day were the exact color of a $5 bill. No tip from Gigi Gorgeous for me. All right. Let the sinner's ball begin. Category is sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Now, first up is, it's the top one, the Diarcan. Yeah. First up is Pythia in a phenomenal look. It's so drag, so sexy, so punk. I feel like I know this girl so well, especially once Pythia has said that she looks like she smells like beer and smoke. This is a bovine sex club kind of gal, and I'm nothing but here for it. Kendall's out next looking super sexy in what is ultimately not the most groundbreaking look, but something that fits her beautifully and looks incredibly hot on her. The combo of like black and silver and gunmetal with this neon green hair is really doing it for me too. I could see the rock and roll and the sex, but this look probably could have benefited from just a hint of drugs. Gia's out next dressed as an actual guitar. And this look is kooky, bizarre, and hilarious. It's just fashionable enough, I feel, but is super camp and fun, and the kind of weird shit I love seeing from challenges like these. That one's for Gia. Adriana's up next in a more goth 80s rock and roll vibe, and I definitely like this. It's fun, it's dark, it feels like a fully realized, worked on, finished look, and fits into her body of work this season beautifully. Like 100% a really nicely realized look from Adriana. Next is Isis Couture as Pizzazz from Gem and the Holograms, but clearly can't say that due to copyright, so she just says, I'm a cartoon character from the 80s. Like she's playing a guessing game with the judges. Cynthia Kiss is up next in a look that gives very ex-Tina in the early 2000s to me. It's red leather, it's leopard, it's like half chaps. I kept wanting to find things to not like about it, but ultimately, I think I ended up loving this look. It takes me back to a time in fashion where musicians wore some really odd shit for a while, and I'm pretty much always here for that. Kimora's out next in a Tina Turner-inspired fringe number that I adore, and I love her presentation. And she brings up the important part that Black people invented rock and roll. While I love the look, I do wish the entire thing was fringe instead of just the accents, but still a totally satisfying look for me. All right, time for category 2, our ugly as sin, ugliest looks. Now, Pythia's look is a marvelous crocheted nightmare, a patchwork, perfectly scary doll that looks like it would be firm and scratchy to the touch. Oddly enough, while I like this look, I found this Club Kid kind of pastiche a bit expected from her. And although it's supposed to be ugly as sin, I feel like this doesn't feel that different from Pythia's artistic aesthetic at all. But hey, I guess that's what she's supposed to do, you know? Next up is Kendall Jenner in an oddly confused looking tulle cape with a puking cat on her shoulder and 2 different colored tights. Is the ugly the outfit or the cat puke or the tights? Is this a storyline? Don't love this look. And not just because of the look of it, but also because it feels like a lot of clashing ideas just resting on top of each other. Oh my God, please. There we go. Oh. All right. Geometric is out next in my favorite weird look she's done all season. This look is so funny and gross and is perfect. The fact that it's not only made of chewing gum, but then has hair stuck to parts of it is truly gag-worthy in more ways than one. And if your look can be simultaneously cool and literally make me want to gag a little bit, then obviously I am fucking sold. Adriana is next in truly the ugliest look of this entire runway. This odd brown patchwork silo with a taupe ruffle at the bottom and a drawstring hoodie top. I do not know how someone would even go about conceiving a look like this. It barely even has sleeves. Like, it's so fucking strange, and I'm completely here for it. Isis is next, and this is stunning. Her inspiration is a crocheted toilet paper roll cover that smells like piss, and I'm there, I'm taken to that place. And that time with this look, on top of this looking well made, if it's actually crocheted, it probably took ages to fucking make. And my God, she knows how to model. Her runway delivery of this was really, really excellent. Excellent. Oh my God. Cynthia Kiss is out next in this circle of fabric with a single ply of marabou around the edge, and this is so fucking bizarre. I don't even know if it's ugly as much as I think it's just such a bizarre and strange garment. I think I love it, but I think I would have loved it even more with either way more feathers around the edge or like none at all. Also, she kind of looks like a giant diaphragm. Next up is Kimora Moore in a powerful and emotional tribute to the ugliness of slavery. I don't want to critique this look in the same lighthearted tone that I've used for everyone else, so I'll just say that it was a great way for Kimora to proudly take space and convey a message extremely important and personal to her. And taking that kind of space and expressing the things you need to say from your POV the most is what drag is there for. Now, I'm gonna make a drink before we get to category 3. Just real quick. What did Papa Joe say? Oh, Papa Joe, we'll get to that in critiques. I thought the short hair would be ugly on me, but it turns out it looks amazing. I actually may not have written about that, so that is good to bring up. That was hilarious. I really thought it was gonna be awful, but it turned out so good. All right, just one sec. I've got to really liquor up for these last looks. All right, what's the clear one today?
Gin.
Oh, she's gin. You know what? I'm going to do gin for this one and then JMO for the next one. I'm mixing my liquors, which I feel like is something that misogynist house husbands in the 50s would warn their wives about doing. All right. Now, category 3 is the 7 Deadly Sins, where we see all the looks the queens have made themselves in the workroom. Now, first up is Kendall in a deep purple gown and cape with purposely large accentuated hips and a BLM adorned on the back in flowers. And while I don't think her execution was the strongest, I do love her concept and feel she modeled it well. The color is absolutely gorgeous on her too, but I don't know. Next is Pythia with the sin of gluttony, and this take on it is so flawless. This candy striper witch covered in candy puke is such a fun take on the sin of excess, instead of just going with gluttony representing fat. You can totally see Pythia's excellent awareness of concept and stunning construction skills here, once again showing that she's one to beat. Next, we've got Geometric in a look that turned out so much better than I expected. Holy shit. I fully thought she was just gonna pull a like Victor and Rolf sleeping look a la Courtney Act, a la Rosie from Call Me Mother. And I'm really glad she didn't. I think this garment's like really cool and looks great on her. And she left me more impressed than I expected to be, especially with a sin like Sloth that doesn't always have the most glamorous depictions. However, it does, as I'm realizing now, also look like Cinderella cosplay. Right down to the choker. It's a little too Cinderella for me, in retrospect. Adriana is up next in her look representing lust. And although I know she tried to go with a more couture look, this feels pretty basic lingerie and breastplate to me. Was it terrible? No. But it definitely didn't knock my socks off by a long shot. My socks stayed firmly where they were. Isis Couture is out next in this look that gives me Kurt Cumstain. Fully Kurt Cumstain in this look.
Cassandra said the same thing.
Really? It's so fucking Kurt Cumstain, it blew my mind. And in the best way. If this was an homage to Kurt Cumstain, I would feel like they were being very, like, represented very, very well. Also, hello, Crafty. Lovely to see you. It's like a super hot, very queer BDSM punk dripping in chains. And although it may not be the most complicated look construction-wise, I do think that visually it ended up being one of the most effective on the runway, and she presented it amazingly. Cynthia Kiss is out next in a look that is 100% fabric on her body, as the legendary Tia Coffee would say. I don't think anyone really loves this. Again, as far as looks can go in a construction and design challenge, this isn't all that bad, but especially seeing how much gorgeous gold shit was in her box, I know she didn't want to use it, but in the hands of someone else, I think we could have ended up with a really sick look, and not this, which just feels kind of flat and plain. Kimura is out next to look inspired by nature. She has an anaconda wrapped around her, is carrying a voodoo doll, and is giving very nature goddess, but on a budget. This hair, though, is fucking serving. It's sleek, it's bone straight, and like 60 inches of hair. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. And I will say, my least favorite thing about this was that she took the Envy placard off of the grave and put it on her head. That, to me, is the equivalent of when you're in Snatch Game and you have to say, I'm Jim Carrey, I'm Liza. You don't need to put the word envy on your head for it to be an envy look. But anyway, it's time for the judges' critiques, starting with Pythia. They loved her gluttony look and they found her ugly look terrifying, which is fantastic news for this challenge. And Brooke felt her sex, drugs, and rock and roll look was the most spot on with the challenge. Kendall gets the critiques that her ugly look was understandably confusing, and even after hearing Kendall explain her concept, it made even less sense. For her pride look, Kendall speaks about the beauty standard with which women of color are critiqued for, but they don't feel the execution of the gown was as good as it could have been. And although Brad feels like the bodysuits are getting repetitive, Gigi Gorgeous disagrees, and so do I. Making this blanket bodysuit critique is something Eve 6000 talked about recently, that when this started with Vanjie and Michelle, it does become one of those things that twinks at bars feel emboldened to say about local queens. Gia's next, and they loved her strange rocker guitar look, but Brad feels the silhouette is just too close to the first challenge, or the first design challenge, and Brooke adored the tacky, ugly look covered in gum and praises her for a successful look, especially considering she almost left after the last design challenge. Adriana's ugliest sin look was universally loved by all the judges for her commitment and sense of humor in the outfit, but they praise the versatility of her looks for the night, but they also feel let down by the simplicity of the lust look, understandably. They adored all of Isis's looks for the night and give praise to her high fashion POV and delivery, and overall definitely feels like a very good night for Isis. Cynthia Kiss is next in the judging, but they found that her work didn't her first work didn't completely look. Oh my God, what did I write? Although Brooke loved it, or her first look didn't completely work. Although Brooke loved it, and Brad fully thought her weird circle dress was the prettiest she'd looked the whole competition, which tanks her in the ugly contest. Next up is Kimura, who's praised by Amanda for making a beautiful and honest piece of work in her Ugliest Sin presentation in homage to her cultural history and community representation. Her Sins look, however, gets more praise than expected for me, though, honestly. The girls untuck in the workroom and share their love and praise as well for Kimura's presentation on the runway. And Gia asks if anyone disagreed with their critiques, which prompts Adriana to feel like she's exhausted and feels hurt that the judges called her look lazy, although this was a pretty basic look. They're also pretty sure Cynthia is lip syncing and pretty much start preparing her for having to lip sync this week as well. All right, the judges have made their decisions, and the winner of this week's challenge is Isis Couture with another win, and I fully agree. I think she served in every single category, and along with Pythia, is one of the people who stand out as a front runner in this cast right now. Kimura and Gia are both called safe, followed by Pythia and Adriana, and we are left with our bottom two for the night, the OG Brat Pack members themselves, Cynthia Kiss and Kendall Jenner, in a surprise, I think, to no one. These two will be lip-syncing to Heaven by DJ Sammy, a song I feel so strongly about, I have to be reminded to talk about it after the recaps are done tonight because there was too much to type in here. So if anyone wants to know my opinions on Heaven by DJ Sammy, just remind me later. Some of you might even know my opinions on the song already. Kendall immediately rips her dress in half and delivers a very solid lip sync with all the trappings of someone who either may have gone to school for theater or dance. She keeps doing this a lot, which is very theater to me. We're treated to this very Glinda and Elphaba embrace moment where they talk about your dreams are coming true. And then Cynthia does this windmill thing again that she did in the first week or whatever, or first time she lip synced, which cracks me the fuck up. A, because she did it twice, and B, it's the way you can see this intense focus on her face as she twirls around every time. It's the concentration. Kendall wins the lip sync, and unfortunately, we bid farewell to Cynthia Kiss, who I've legit enjoyed watching, and I'm going to miss going forward. We're down to our top 6, and anything could happen. Next week is the Roast Challenge, and I don't see any of this cast doing that well. So I'm pretty sure I'll either be pleasantly surprised or massively disappointed. And that's Drag Race Canada for the week, everybody. Ooh!
Lovely.
Lovely. How are we feeling about that? It felt like it was like, I didn't want Cynthia to go, but having lip synced that many times, it did feel kind of inevitable.
Yeah, I hear ya.
Who do you think's gonna go home next week in the Roast Challenge? I'm gonna say it's Kimura.
Yeah, they're giving Kimura that you're gonna go soon.
Yeah.
Edit.
Which
yeah.
I'm fine with. I really think Kimura as a person seems incredible and very cool. But like, I'm just gonna say it, like, not a good drag racer.
No.
No. Has actually been like a huge kind of letdown for me in terms of being a cast member, not in terms of their drag. I don't mean to cast that wide a net, but like, I don't know, just has given me like really not a lot so far this season.
Oh, we just got a
3D
$20
Putty,
tip.
thank you. Oh my God, we're halfway to having to smoke that weed.
Oh yeah, if you guys want to buy us the opportunity to smoke our own homegrown weed, we won't smoke it until we won't.
No, we're just going to leave
allowed.
it to cure in the cupboard.
I love that the way that 3D Putty decided to say hello was with money. And then the yeah hello came next. That's sexy.
Do you know what I just realized? I haven't tried this yet.
Oh, yes. Come on, Cloud Chaser.
Smoky notes.
Oh, yes.
Can you believe that a competitive vapor is called a cloud chaser?
Well, yes, I can believe it.
Filthy.
I know.
That's the name of people on Grindr who asked me to come over and have meth sex with them.
Oh, really?
Yes, cloud chasing is a whole different thing for gays.
Well, thank you for letting us know.
Yeah, I just want to give it up for meth for a second.
Yeah, meth.
Meth. All right. Time to hop on the Concorde over to Gatwick and check in on the girls from Drag Race UK in an episode I felt promised was going to be the finale, but no. It's actually, in fact, our penultimate episode, and I'm left to wonder, wow, I can't believe the season has been on for 9 weeks. It feels so much longer. Our everlasting top four are back in the workroom, and yes, that is an everlasting gobstopper reference in honor of Ella Day's look. Our everlasting top four are back in the workroom after the lip sync for the win and non-elimination, and the girls talk about their badges and their individual badge counts. Kitty's got 2 badges plus a sash. That's a hard word to say, plus a sash, that she won't shut up about. Ella has 3, but no sash. Crystal has 2, no sash. And Vanity has 1 from a group win. So I think the end of the episode just got spoiled for us. We're back in the workroom and Ella is bragging about her 3 badges, much to the chagrin of Vanity, while resting a tit on her shoulder. The alarm sounds just as the queens are having this sexy yet competitive dog pile. Oh, that's from last week. Oh, wait. No, that's right. No. Oh, you had it right. Sorry. Did I leave out a star? Sexy dog pile. There we are. This is sexy, honestly. Just all these people climbing on top of each other. I kind of loved it. And we got RuPaul's TV message, which tells us literally nothing about the challenge in the slightest, except saying sinner and then talking about pearly gates. And I'm left to think, didn't I just do this recap? The girls will be competing in a Pearly Gates angelic comedy roast, and will have to write a stand-up set where they roast themselves, and in a twist, the judges panel and special guests, the eliminated queens of the season. The queens discuss how they're feeling going into the challenge, and immediately Kitty is confident as hell, since although she's never done stand-up, she has been hosting drag shows for long enough to know how to talk to a crowd, deliver jokes, and feels very confident on a mic. Vanity and Crystal are both concerned about how they can do here, and the group collectively decided that there are no holds to be barred and that they should all have no fear of going in. Ella is in charge of making the set list and gets to decide the order and has the power to really fuck people over here if she'd like, although, I'm so sorry. It's fashion. Have the power to fuck people over here if she'd like to, although I wish we were going to get a full Lawrence Chaney meltdown like last season. Do you remember when Lawrence had that huge fucking meltdown because of Ellie, what was her goddamn name? Ellie Diamond making that,
Yeah.
Oh, yes. So good. Lawrence was so fucking mad. Ella decides to put Crystal first, herself second, Vanity third, and Kitty last. And in the interest of keeping things brief, we are going right to the main stage where Rue looks incredible tonight. I actually think this look is so cute and a nice departure from the really fucking odd choices she's been making this season. I'd wear this. It's flouncy, it's pretty, it's black and yellow, which never fails. Just excellent. Michelle and Alan are both looking like themselves, but our guest judge this week is the hilarious Kathy Burke, who I know from British comedy shows like 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown and Taskmaster, and honestly, watching her do anything on Taskmaster is brilliant. Her season where she's one of the Taskmaster comedians is chef's kiss. She's so dry and often doesn't give a shit about actually doing the task. She once just broke a full sink of dishes making a fountain. All right, it's time for the Pearly Gates roast. And we're joined by all of the departed queens of the season, mostly looking adorable and fantastic, and I'll leave it up to you to try to figure out which Veronica Green I'm talking about. Like, they all look so good, and then Veronica's look, I'm like, don't wear a purple lipstick, baby, don't ever. Also, even using process of elimination, I could not figure out who the fuck Electra Fence was. I kept being like, who's that queen on the left? Who's that queen at the end? First up is Crystal Versace in her fashionable and gorgeous angelic look, and starts it with a big tonight, which doesn't demonstrate the most confidence to me. This performance doesn't seem all that bad. I mean, it's not perfect, and some of her jokes are really stupid, like saying great, 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 great 100 times before grandmother, talking about how old Rue is. But literally, during the whole thing, no one laughs. She's first. The audience is cold. No one laughs. She talks about being a virgin again and then uses that as an excuse to explain to Michelle what that is, and like slut shames Michelle, and holy shit, it's crickets. However, although I hate her look, Veronica is the first queen to heckle Crystal, and it's about her jokes being old, which sets off a chain reaction, and then Rue heckles her as well, and this is the energy we need. Everyone should be yelling constantly. It was not the best set, but it was delivered well and with confidence, and she definitely tried. C+. Ella is up next to the stage, and the cut of this outfit makes her proportions look very legs go all the way up. But I do love a good piss yellow hair highlight. Ella kills it right off the top, pronouncing Anubis's name as Anus Bus, which I really love. Ella confidently delivers a great set and really impresses everyone and gets some really, really great reads in on the gals. Vanity follows, and my God, this look is really stunning and definitely my favorite thing she's won in the whole competition. It's so, so beautiful. Unfortunately, my praise has to stop there as her set falls pretty fucking flat. The best part comes from her getting heckled and then yelling back at the girls, but even that energy disappears quickly and the set returns to being lackluster. But she does finish with a great joke about pissing on herself, which feels out of place, and when she says it's the most shit joke she's come up with, Veronica Green responds with, "Are you sure?" Which killed me. All right, Kitty's up next, and in a surprise to no one, immediately begins taking this challenge by storm and begins in great form by reading herself and telling a true story about going on a family holiday at 14 that she was mistaken for the mum, which made me spit out water the first time I heard it. Kitty confidently slays this. We are watching someone in their element completely. Seeing Kitty on the mic like this and casually destroying everyone, prompting tons of laughs from all the girls and all the judges. All right, it's time for the runway. And the category is, oh my goddess. Crystal is out first, and this beautiful, gaudy gold sequin look, which is one of the only times I've seen reversible sequin used and not look tacky in years. There's beading, there's drapery, a fabulous headpiece, and this look is so beautifully complete and elevated. It's very Met Gala Heavenly Bodies, which I'm 100% sure she took as inspiration for this. Ella Vidae is next, and I think this bodysuit is stunning, and I would change everything else. Without this shredded fabric, this would have just been like a rhinestoned naked look on Ella, which is so different than anything she's delivered so far that I think it would have been so impactful. She's also wearing 40 inches of human hair, but because it's human, the styling that she did on it has completely fallen out of that wig. And I can tell what she wanted to do with this hair absolutely would have worked better with a synthetic wig. This wig suits flat and seems to not have much style to it, unfortunately, but I could definitely hate the look more. I could. Vanity Milan is up next in a dripping gold look that is good and successful, but still just doesn't feel as elevated as it could be. However, it is an undeniably gorgeous look on her. Kitty is next, serving Greek goddess in a structured crown-like hair, a beautiful sculpted gold bodice, this flowing pink chiffon, and she looks flawless. I can't get over what a vision she is in this. It's mind-blowing. The judges' critiques are to be as to be expected, with them feeling that Crystal limited herself to jokes about age and slag without exploring more, but commend her on being charming and likable, and they adore her look. Ella is commended for starting strong and staying strong, and the judges were very impressed by her confident delivery, joke after joke, and they love the look, although Kathy Burke thinks her hair reminds her of an old ladyish blue rinse, which I don't see at all. Vanity Milan is next, and they thought her roast look was beautiful, but the judges felt that the energy she brought to clapping back to the audience could have been harnessed with the rest of her reads for the audience. They love her look, though, and feel like they've seen a lot of growth from Vanity in the competition, which also feels like they're wrapping her storyline up. Kitty Scott Claus is up next, and the critiques are fantastic. Kathy Burke calls her a superior comedy queen and loved her roast and felt it was professionally delivered and executed flawlessly. Their only critique is that while her jokes were great, she may have relied on her notes a little too much, but it's no Blair St. Clair desperately flipping an actual notebook on stage. Of course, they love her look, feeling like it's opera diva meets Greek mythology, and it suits her body wonderfully. Now, in Untucked, the girls all get messages from home, and they're mostly just sweet and nice, but the standout for me is this message from Crystal's family, which confused me, as I wondered, how could she be on the left in this photo and on Drag Race at the same time? We're back on the main stage, and the winner of this week's challenge is Ella Vidae. Well-deserved and shocking, I think, only to Kitty. Kitty is, of course, called safe, and we'll be moving on to next week's finale with Crystal and Vanity lip-syncing this week to Best Track Off of Future Nostalgia, Hallucinate by Dua Lipa. I was honestly so delighted to get to watch Crystal perform again, as she's such a captivating, natural talent and lip-syncs so fucking well. It's a tough match, but ultimately Crystal Versace wins her spot in the top 3, and we bid farewell to a charming, lovable, talented performer who somehow made it to the top 4, Vanity Milan. Next week is finally the finale, and I'm saying it here, my money is on Crystal Versace. I'm saying it. And that's Drag Race Canada and Drag Race UK, everybody.
Woo!
That's it. That's it. How are we feeling? Papa Joe is saying I'm a little struck by how much Crystal looks like her sister. I agree. I can't believe that with the amount of work she's had done, she still has such a strong family resemblance to her family. And I will also say her dad, hot. Her dad is like British tradesman trade. Like tradey trade. Like meet up with you after work, never tell anyone trade. It was hot. Yeah, those are our episodes. Listen. Drag Race is Drag Race. It's always going to be fun to watch to a certain degree, but I don't think it's anyone's, I don't think it's a surprise to anyone that I don't want to speak for Lizzie, but I and Lizzie have been feeling a little let down by this season of UK.
Yes, that's a fair thing to say.
It's just been a bit blech, and I think we've all agreed it's been a bit blech. And so I'm excited for it to end. I genuinely think the most interesting win of this would be Crystal Versace. I think she would be their Violet Chachki. I think you give, or even a Tyra Sanchez, you give a young person a chance to shine, set them up for their whole 20s. I would love to see what Crystal Versace would do with the crown. I feel like I know exactly what kind of winner Ella Vidae and Kitty Scott-Claus would be, and they'd be totally competent and very good at it, I'm sure. I want Crystal.
I agree. I think that we've seen a lot of queens where we're like, they've earned this place, blah, blah, blah. Whereas it would be very interesting to see a queen start off her career with that kind of support. I think that's...
I mean, Priyanka started off her career with winning Drag Race. But no, I agree. I also think, like, I think they're really painting to the audience that Kitty Scott-Claus is the obvious winner. And I'm like, do we really need another overweight comedy queen to win Drag Race UK?
Well, that's it. It's a very similar winning pattern.
Totally. Like, I really like Kitty. I really like Kitty. I love her energy. I love her delivery. As a drag queen, I am a fan. Like, I like Kitty Scott-Claus. In terms of being an interesting winner for the franchise, she wouldn't be an interesting winner for me. I feel like everything, like, I don't know. I've said this before, comparison is the enemy of drag, but it's impossible not to do, especially with a franchise where you crowned one curvy comedic grand dame, and then the second season you crowned another curvy comedic grand dame. If we end up crowning a third panto-style curvy... I wouldn't call her panto. That's rude. If we end up crowning another funny fat girl, that's what I'm going to say. I don't know. I don't know if Bimini was robbed. Lauren seemed like the obvious winner. And honestly, Bimini is doing just fine without winning. So it's...